So it looks like I have an email from Sarah who writes, "It sounds like you're having a good show, but the cold is really catching up with you. Thank you, appreciate that." Well, what kind of underhanded comment is that? Like, hey, good show, but you sound like garbage. They're right though. And it's not a cold. It's not corona. It's allergies. Okay. But she says, even though I respect a lot of your down the middle politicking, which I don't think that's true. Um, Why are you playing down the vaccine so much? I don't think that that's fair to be so negative on people's hopes. That's what I do here, by the way. Pay attention to how many positive stories I have. It's absolutely zero. Try living in the hell that is that. No, look, Sarah, it's not that I'm trying to poo-poo the whole vaccine. I'm not. If it works, great. This is pretty much though in a standard vaccine creation. This is exactly where they would be at. Michael Olderstein actually said the exact same thing, or Olderholm, or whatever his name is, the guy who was on Joe Rogan. Um, yeah, I'm a real fountain of information. But anyway, he did say that this is exactly where they should be, and you know, it's nothing really to celebrate. It's nothing to go, oh, here we go, we're protected now. Partially, one of the things that keeps coming up, and something that we have to understand, is the case of the person who has coronavirus in March, and then in June they got it again. I say that because we have seen this instance a few times now. Um, a few times in America that this has been reported, and in other countries as well. So, what does that actually mean for the vaccine? That means that the vaccine may be a bandage, which is horrible, by the way. I mean, that means we potentially have this for the rest of our lives. Um, Essentially, because how a vaccine works is it introduces a virus into your immune system. Your immune system says, "Hey, this okay, I see. This is the playbook. This is how I handle this disease. This is my defense. This is how I can handle it." But if your immune system is infiltrated and attacked after being given a vaccine, or if you've caught this same disease twice, it means our immune systems can't really handle this disease for multiple reasons, by the way. Now, there are situations where people just end up getting the same illness twice in a row, and it really doesn't speak to other people's immune systems. It speaks more to their own immune system. That happens. Don't get me wrong. There's people who catch the same strain of influenza throughout the year. Multiple times. I've had friends that have had like influenza A 3 times in a year. So I don't want to say that that is 100% for sure what's happening here. I don't know. And either do the scientists, by the way. Like, this thing is so early on, we have no idea. But it's a true possibility when you see this kind of thing happen, especially when you see it happen as many times as it has happened. And the multiple cases where we don't know if this is true or not either. People who say, "Oh, I think I had coronavirus this spring. It wasn't that bad." Then they're getting it again now. And we know for sure they're getting it now because they're being added up as one of the people, who's counted positive in your area as you've talked to them. Now, did they have it the first time? I don't know. It's hearsay. They say they did. Did they go to a doctor? You don't know. But I have heard those anecdotal stories as well. I only believe them because of the facts and that there are documented cases of people catching it 2 times now. And that is incredibly problematic. Again, do we know, is the virus, is it mutating? Does it mutate just a little bit over a few months and that's what makes it so hard for our immune system to fight? Potentially. Um, we have seen it mutate twice already. So is it mutating that much in a few months? And my whole thing is like, look, we can get a vaccine. and I do think that they should be working on it. I think it's really important, of course, obviously. But the reason I'm not super excited about this whole thing is number one, we don't know the side effects. We don't want to push something out until we know the effects of the vaccine. Um, Donald Trump made a comment about that, although he was talking about something else. But to hit the nail on the head, you don't want the cure to be worse than the disease. But more so is if this only grants you immunity for a couple months. To me, that's a really bad situation. Not as bad as no vaccine at all, because you can quell the illness in that time. But if it just comes roaring back whenever people um, aren't immune anymore, that's a huge problem. And that means that we could be lining up. Let's say it's every 2 months, every 3. Let's go three. That's a little bit easier. That means you're going to get a vaccine every 4 times a year. As an American, can you can you imagine that working? I can't. Not to mention the cost. They're not going to give that to us for free. These pharmaceutical companies need to make money. Uh, so it's incredibly problematic and something to be very concerned over. Now, look, if you were to do this right, like Japan, if this happened in Japan, they get the vaccine, they will kill the coronavirus because all they'll do is this: is they'll say, okay, they'll space out who gets the vaccine and when. If you live in this neighborhood, so to speak, you get the coronavirus vaccine, this week. Then I'm going to wait a month. And now these other people get the coronavirus. So when other people's immunity drops and comes back, there'll be huge immunity. Herd immunity, Jesus Christ. I'm telling you. But they will create their own herd immunity. We won't do that. We can't do that. Our country's too big to control like that. It's just not going to work. So, yeah, I'm not that I'm not that optimistic about the vaccine. I'm sorry, Sarah. I see that's why you listen because I come on here and I let you down.